poet of the Victorian age for nearly half a century. Tennyson expressed in exquisite melody the doubts and griefs, tragedies and triumphs of the whole nation. He was sensitive to the intellectual and spiritual climate of his age. He was born in Lincolnshire in 1809. Tennyson was brought up in a typically English countryside. He was educated in the grammar school of his native village, and then he went up to Trinity College, Cambridge. In 1826, poems written by Alfred and his brother Charles were published under the title Poems by Two Brothers. In 1832, he published his first volume of poems. His best friend Alan died in 1833, and it was a traumatic experience for Tennyson. 3 years of his silence followed. In 1842, he brought out another volume of poems which contained revised versions of many poems in the earlier volume. In 1850, he married Emily Selwood. The same year, in 1850, he was elevated to the position of the Poet Laureate of England. He continued to write on the problems of the age, experimenting with different meters until crossed the bar in 1890. Tennyson was the representative voice of his age. During his long career, he touched on all aspects of contemporary life. It was a time when English society was undergoing remarkable changes. These revolutions were inspired by two important factors: the rapid advances in science and industrialization brought about unprecedented prosperity to people. Darwin's theory of evolution has successfully destroyed the complacent faith in religion. Darwin's theory of evolution has successfully destroyed the complacent faith in religion. Science has developed a spirit of inquiry which questioned the very existence of God. Man was no longer considered the crown of creation, but only a descendant from the apes. Tennyson's In Memoriam gives an account of the conflict between faith and doubt. In the poem Lotus Eaters, he expresses the desire to escape from contemporary sorrow and frustration. But Ulysses is a tribute to the courageous spirit who wants to explore the unknown. Some other important poems are Locksley Hall, 60 Years After, and The Lady of Shalott. This is the background against which discerning student of literature is expected to read Tennyson poetry. So the poem Ulysses was first published in 1842. Ulysses, the Latin form of Odysseus. Ulysses is the Latin form of Odysseus, is the most anthologized of Tennyson poems, and it is based on the character Odysseus from Homer's epic Odyssey. Ulysses was the king of Ithaca, an island near the Gulf of Corinth. Ulysses was the king of Ithaca, an island near the Gulf of Corinth. In Homer, he is the wisest of Greek warriors, who after 20 years of struggle with gods, giants, and men, return home to kill the suitors to the hand of his faithful wife, Penelope, his son Telemachus. So it was written in Ulysses reflects the feeling about the need to go forward in life. It is written under a sense of loss and a feeling that life must be fought out to the end of braving struggles and losses. Now I am going to read the poem Ulysses, written by Tennyson. I read the poem Ulysses, written by Tennyson. It little profits that an idle king, by this still earth among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal loss unto a savage race, that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink right to the lees. All times I have enjoyed. All times I have enjoyed. Greatly have suffered greatly, both those that loved me and alone, on shore, and when through scudding drifts the rainy aids vex the dim sea. For always roaming with every art, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of the battle with my peers, or on the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am a part of all that I have met. Yet all experiences is an arch wherethrough gleams that untraveled world those margin fades. Forever and forever, when I move, how dull it is to pass, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as through to breath were life. Life failed on life, little remains, but every hour is saved. From the eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things. And while it were for some 3 suns to store and hold myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star behind the utmost bound of human thought. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the scepter and the eye, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labor by slow prudence to make mild. A rugged people and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and good. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not too far, in offices of tenderness and pay, meet adoration to my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark broad seas, my mariners' souls that have toiled and thought, and throughout with me. Whatever with a frolic welcome took, the thunder and the sunshine and opposed free arts, free for it. You and I are old age at its honor and its toil. Death closes all, but something ere the end. Some work of noble note may yet be done, not becoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs the deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, it is not too late to seek a never word. Push up and sitting well in order's might. The sounding furrows for my purpose holds. To sail behind the sunset and the bars of the western star until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be shall touch the happy eyes and see the great Achilles who me know. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are one equal temper of heroic gods, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive to seek, to find and not to yield. Try to strive to seek, to find and not to yield. Not to yield. So in the first paragraph, Ulysses is the poem in blank verse by the Victorian poet Alfred Tennyson. The poem was written in 1892. Ulysses was a legendary Greek hero known as Odysseus. So he was the king of Ithaca. Ulysses was the king of Ithaca. It's a small island in the Ionian Sea, where he lived with his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus. Name of his wife Penelope and name of his son is Telemachus. He was the son of Laertes and Anticlea. His father was Ulysses' father was Laertes and mother was Anticlea. Ulysses was known for his intellectual brilliance, guile, and versatility. After fighting with war against the city of Troy with the Greeks, he started his journey home and reached Ithaca after a 25-year-long adventure. The poem is about to dissatisfied aged king Ulysses, who is bored of spending his time with his wife Penelope, doing nothing all day except eating, sleeping, and judging the disputes of his subjects. In the first para, It little profits that an idle king by this still earth among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal loss at your savage race that ward and sleep and feed and know not me. And know not me. So this the first para, the first stanza, 5 lines. The poem begins with King Ulysses lamenting his uselessness life. So on the Isle of Ithaca, Ulysses is a restless, adventurous man. He laments that it little profits that an idle king. He laments that it is not profitable for him to sit idle in his palace by the fire, placed with his wife Penelope in the barren highland of Ithaca, and making unequal laws and dispensing justice to the subjects of his kingdom. He thinks that his subjects are savages, uncivilized people who do nothing but eat, drink, and sleep like savages. They could not be treated equally in the eyes of the law. Moreover, his subjects are ignorant of these capabilities. They do not know that he is a hero who ignorant of his capabilities. And he had victoriously fought in many wars and traveled to many places all over the world. They also do not understand that he craves for adventure instead of sitting idly on his throne. In the second paragraph, I cannot rest from travel. I will drink like to the seas. All times I have enjoyed greatly. I have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone on the shore, and when through scudding drifts the rainy airs vexed the dim sea. So in these 6 lines, the next lines of this poem for second stanza, Ulysses explains why sitting on his throne and dispensing only justice seems useless to him. Ulysses admits that he has a passion for adventure and travel. I cannot rest from travel. He is willing to live life to the fullest. I will live life of the least. So he wants to use every opportunity that in life has to offer. He wants to drink life to its last dregs, least, similar to man who drinks a cup of wine to the dregs sediment at the bottom of the cup. Ulysses tries to enjoy life to its peak. Life is thought of as a cup which Ulysses would drink to the last drop. Ulysses tells us that he had experienced good and bad times in his life, sometimes with his adventurous friends, and sometimes alone both on land, shore, and over the oceans through the scudding drifts, the cloudy skies, which threatened west to cause disastrous storms. He had sailed without fear in the Aids. Aids means a group of 7 stars associated with sudden appearances of strong winds in the violent storms on the oceans. That is called Aids. Haydes. Hyades. In the third paragraph, I have become a name for always roaming with hungry heart. Much I have seen and known cities of men and manners, climate, councils, governments, myself not least, but honor of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my fears. For all the ringing plains of windy Troy, I am a part of all that I have met. Part of all that I have met. So Ulysses becomes nostalgic and he recalls his adventurous life. He is proud that he has become famous for his adventures. I have become a name. He has an angry heart. His thirst for adventure was insatiable. During his adventures, he had seen and known cities of men. He had visited several different places and witnessed their manners, and he see the weather of different countries and see the governments of different countries. The people of these places he visited treated him with honor. Myself, if not least, but honored of them all. He was recognized as a hero of many battles and adventures. He had fought a victorious war along with his fellow soldiers in the Trojan War. In the Trojan War, the ringing plains of India tried. His ears rang with the sound of armors and swords clashing while fighting with the Trojan soldiers in the fields of Troy. He had left an indelible name and had become an integral part of the places he visited. A part of all that I have met, he had found those places intriguing and he liked them. He longed to be in such places, but he is now entrenched in his own kingdom, Ithaca, which he finds boring and unenticing. He feels that man grows with the experiences he has gained. He feels that man grows with the experiences he has gained. In the next stanza, let all experiences in an arch were through gleam that untraveled world whose margin fades. Forever and forever, when I move, how dull it is to pass to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breath were life. Here, in this stanza, Ulysses discloses why he decides to lead an adventurous life. He compares his adventurous experiences to an arch doorway through which he can glean many places that he is yet to travel, untraveled world. When Ulysses is traveling, he can explore more places whose margin fades. The more he travels, the more the margins, boundaries of lands. He can explore forever and forever. He can choose to explore many more boundaries forever and forever. So without limits of time and space, so he laments that it is boring to just sit in his kingdom, contemplating the end of his life. He feels uneasy because he has stopped his adventures. He compares himself to a metallic object. It loses its shine when unburnished, when not in use. He says that he is leading an idling life Just breathing as if it is the only thing a man has to do instead of going out and exploring the world. Ulysses means to say that life is a weapon which tends to rust if not used for adventure or war. In the next stanza, life failed on life were all too little and of one to me. Little remains, but every hour is saved from the eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things, and wide it were. For some reasons to store and hold myself, and the grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge, like a sinking star, beyond the utmost bound of human thought. So in this stanza, Ulysses finds for an adventurous life. He claims that even multiple lifetimes, life failed on life, so would not be enough for him to do all things he wants. He has got this one lifetime, and he has grown old with age. Only a few more years remain for him to explore the world. Every hour of life is in old age is an hour of saved from the silence of death. Each hour that is used now, or each hour that is saved from eventual death. Eternal silence can bring him new experiences, something more, a bringer of new things. But he had wasted 3 suns, 3 years, unpleasantly doing nothing but bored himself. Ulysses regrets that he has only a few remaining years in his life, which he would hoard like a miser, but he has remaining years in his life, which he would hoard like a miser, but spend freely in the pursuit of knowledge beyond the utmost bound of human thoughts. He wants to gain such knowledge beyond the utmost bound of human thoughts. He wants to gain such knowledge beyond the limited capacity, knowledge beyond the limited capacity of a human mind. Human mind. So in the next stanza, this is my son, my own Telemachus, to whom I leave the scepter and the eye, were loud of me, discerning to fulfill this labor by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and good. Here, Ulysses refers to his son and his heir, Telemachus. Telemachus is the son of Ulysses. He is the heir of Ulysses. He will eventually inherit the scepter. Ulysses says that he loves his son very much and believes that he will use this discernment, good judging capacity and prudence to govern Ithaca, to use his wisdom to eventually turn the struggle people, unruly subjects of Ithaca into civilized citizens. Into civilized citizens. In the next stanza, most blameless as he centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail, in offices of tenderness and pay, meet adoration to my household gods. When I am gone, your works is work I mine. So Ulysses goes on to say that his son Telemachus, as a character without any blemishes and has respectable morality, Ulysses believes that his son is not an adventurous as himself, but is centered in the sphere of common duties. Telemachus will make a good administrator. Unlike himself, he believes that Telemachus will also pay proper respects to his household gods. Greek gods usually worshipped in Ithaca. Greek gods usually worshipped in Ithaca, and hence is blessed by them. After he leaves on a voyage for adventure, he works his work I mine. Telemachus, being a good administrator, will go about ruling his kingdom, and Ulysses, being a great adventurer, will travel the world. Will travel the world. So, in the next paragraph, next stanza, there lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark, broad seas, my mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and throughout with me, that ever with a polite welcome took the thunder and the sunshine and opposed pre-arts, pre-poets, you and I are old. Old age hath it is honor and its toil. So here Ulysses turns his attention to the port of Ithaca and the sea where a ship is preparing to set sail. The vessel puffs her sail. The vast expanse of the sea looks gloomy and dark. The crew and seamen, mariners had gladly accompanied him in many exciting adventures, and opposite faced the thunder and sunshine, good weather and bad weather, with their free hearts and free minds. That is, willingly and courageously, without thinking about their own safety, Ulysses has a lot of love and admiration for them and understand that they are all old people, yet even in their old age, they have the responsibility to save their honor and work tied to safeguard it. So in the next stanza, death closes all, but something ere and end. Some work of noble note may yet be done, not becoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs the deep mounds round with many voices. Ulysses knows that death will eventually climb one and all, but he still believes he can do great things. They are not unbecoming men that strove with gods. It is not impossible for the men who fought with the gods in the Trojan War. Ulysses observed the sun setting behind the hills of Ithaca. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs. The long day ends with the moon and stars slowly rising over the sky, and the deep ocean waves roll around them, making moaning sounds. See the next stanza. Come, my friends, it is not too late to seek a newer world. Push up and sitting well in order smite. The sounding furrows for my purpose vows to sail behind the sunset and the baths of the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulf will wash us down. It may be she'll touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom me knew. So in this the stanza, Ulysses now addresses his friends. He assures them that it is never too late to explore newer lands. He signals them to leave the shore to push up. He urges the sailors to position themselves correctly and smite, or strike the sounding furrows deep ocean with their oars. With all their might, he tells them that he is determined to sail beyond the sunset. And the boss of all the western stars, what Ulysses means is that he will continue sailing and exploring until his death. The continuing nature of this exploration is expressed in the imagery of following knowledge beyond the sunset and the boss of all the western stars. All the western stars. So Ulysses realizes that the journey is not safe from any eventualities. It may be that the gulls will wash us down. It may be shall touch the happy heights. Ulysses realizes that he and his friends may drown in the sea during violent storms and it flow. So they might even reach the happy isles and meet their old acquaintance, Achilles. Achilles is another brave Greek soldier who killed the Trojan hero Hector in the Trojan War. So in Greek mythology, Happy Isles refers the islands of the blessed, a place where Greek heroes like Achilles enjoyed perpetual summer after their death, equivalent to heaven or paradise. I explain these things once again. In Greek mythology, Happy Isles refers to the islands of the blessed, the place where Greek heroes like Achilles enjoyed perpetual summer after their death, equivalent to heaven or paradise. Equivalent to heaven or paradise. See the last passage, paragraph, the last stanza of the poem Ulysses, though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are one equal temper of the heroic gods, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive to seek, to find, and not to yield. Not to yield. So, in conclusion part of this poem, Ulysses concedes that he and his friends now do not have the same strength that they possessed in their youth. In the conclusion line, Ulysses concedes he and his friends now do not have the same strength that they possessed in their youth. They had moved heaven and earth, and that they were fearless warriors and fought with one equal temper of the heroic arts, bravely and united with a single heart, and never turned back like cowards. But fate and time had made them physically weak, but had not dented their strong spirit for adventure and war. They all have one thing in common is to strive, to seek, to find, not to heed. It means that the sense of loss in life must be filled by adventure. It is about the para-wise, stanza-wise summary to the discussion of the poem Ulysses. So here, Ulysses was a legendary Greek hero, also known as Odysseus. He was the king of Ithaca, a small island in the Ionian Sea, where he lived with his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus. He was the son of Laertes and Anticlea. Ulysses was known for his intellectual brilliance, guile, and versatility. After fighting with the war against the city of Troy with the Greeks, he started his journey home and reached Ithaca after 10 years, 25 years long adventure. Tennyson Ulysses is now an aged and is dissatisfied king who is bored of spending his time with his wife Penelope, doing nothing all day except eating, sleeping, and judging his subjects. Ulysses is a restless, adventurous man. He laments that it is not profitable for him to sit idle in his wife in the barren island of Ithaca and making unequal laws for his subjects. He considered his subjects as savages because they do nothing but hoard, drink, and sleep like savages. He criticizes his subjects for being ignorant of his capabilities. They do not know that he is a great hero and a prolific adventurer who had fought victoriously against the gods in the Trojan War and traveled to many places all over the world. Ulysses admits that he has passion for adventure and travel. He is willing to live life to the fullest. He wants to use every opportunity that life has to offer, similar to a man who drinks a cup of wine to the dregs. Ulysses likes to enjoy life to its peak. Life is thought of as a cup of wine which you would drink to the last drop. Ulysses has experienced good and bad times in his life, sometimes alone and sometimes with his adventurous friends, both on land and over the oceans. He has braved violent storms and traveled to many unknown places during his adventures. He is proud that he has become famous for his adventures. His thirst for adventure is insatiable. He had visited several different places and witnessed their manners, weather, governments, etc. The people of those places he visited treated him with honor. He was recognized as a hero of many battles and adventures. He had found those places intriguing and he liked them. He longs to be in such places, but he is now entrenched in his own kingdom, Ithaca. Ulysses feels that a man grows with experiences he has gained. He compares his adventurous experiences to an arch through which he can glimpse the places that he is yet to travel. He craves to explore many more boundaries. forever and forever without limits of time and space. So he laments that he is boring to just sit in his kingdom contemplating the ends of his life. He compares himself to a metallic object. It loses its shine when not in use. He compares himself to a metallic object which loses its shine when not in use. Any metal loses its shine when does not use. When it is not in use. He is sad that he is leading a useless life, just breathing as if it is the only thing a man has to do. Ulysses thinks that life is a weapon which tends to rust if not used for adventure. Ulysses thinks that life is a weapon which tends to rust if not used for adventure or war. Ulysses finds for adventure. He feels restless because he has grown old and only a few years remaining for him to explore the world. Every hour of life in old age is an hour saved from the silence of death. So he wants to use those hours beneficially to gain new experiences. Ulysses feels that he has wasted 3 sons, so 3 years in Ithaca, doing nothing by wording himself like an animal. Ulysses regrets that he has only a few remaining years in his life, which he would hoard like a miser to spend them freely in the pursuit, which he would hoard like a miser to spend them freely in the pursuit of knowledge and adventure. He feels like a sinking star in his old age. He wants to gain such knowledge beyond the capacity of human mind. Ulysses loves his son Telemachus, whom he admires for being good administrator. Hence, Ulysses decides to hand over the throne of Ithaca to his son and pursue his adventurous life. Ulysses admires his fellow mariners because they are gladly accompanied him in many adventures. Ulysses feels that even in their old age, they have the responsibility to save their honor and should toil to safeguard it. Ulysses is aware that death will eventually claim one and all, but he still believes that they can do great things. It is impossible for man to sit idle who have fought with gods in the Trojan War. Ulysses embarks in his adventures with his loyal mariners. He inspires them by telling them that he is determined the sunset and the boss of all Western stars. Ulysses wants to explore until his death. Ulysses is aware that the journey is not safe. It may be that they might drown in the sea during violent storms, or if so, they might even reach the Happy Isles and meet their illustrious friend Achilles, other Greek great warrior. Ulysses inspires his mariner friends by recalling the mariner in which they fought in the Trojan War. He explains them that fate and time may have made them physically weak, but had not dented with their strong spirit of adventure. They all have one thing in common, that is to strive, to seek, to find, not to yield. Ulysses strongly believes that the sense of loss in life must be filled by adventure, must be filled by adventure. So it is about the uh, description of the summary of the poem Ulysses written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. In the next class, we are discussing some other topic. Okay, bye. See you.